Hey.
Okay, now I can
Haha.
see me, but I can't see. So,
There
there you are.
There you are. I
Jeez
see
Louise,
ya.
man. I don't know why it's not working.
Yeah. I love it.
I don't remember why the hell we met.
Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world. Yeah.
So, what went on this week? What's going on in the kitchen?
What's going on in the kitchen? Probably, the most interesting thing I'm finding doing these consulting gigs is, you get hired based on your expertise and what you're good at, what you're able to do. You're equally hired based on your connections, right, or people you know.
Yeah.
And I find that the job is sometimes the same. It's the same in a lot of ways. I find myself coaching. I guess I call it inner game and as much as I coach outer game. Like that whole idea of like, it's all the stuff that you and I talk about, right? Like the whole how focused are you on accomplishing what you need to accomplish, how distracted you get, what makes you deviate from your plan. And
Yeah.
I find that as a consultant these days, I seem to be, in some ways I'm holding people accountable to their vision as much as I am just helping out with my expertise. Do you know what I mean?
But that is part of the expertise, I think. That's why, if I know you may not see it, but that is some of the reason you get called in.
Yeah.
What you know, your contacts, and then like seriously trying to keep people on. I mean, it's funny. I find, I can help clients focus a lot better than I can focus myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I feel like, you feel like your dad, do as I say, not as I do. Right. And because they don't really know what you do in your own personal little world.
Yeah.
Is they actually, people do listen to you because you are saying the right things. You're trying to say, listen, it's great. It's good, but we're just a little off track. Let's pull it back.
Yeah.
Let's park that one. That's a good idea. But right at this moment, let's bury this.
But this,
right?
And at this moment, this is not what you're trying to achieve.
No,
right?
at this moment, this here is more important than that.
Yeah.
That's important and it's cool, but it really is just a distraction. Just breathe for a minute. Let's finish this, and then absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the next 15 minutes, we'll have 25 other ones to look at anyway, because most people we're dealing with are very similar. They're all ADD anyway.
Yeah. It's been really funny. I had one of those calls this week with someone who, she makes a kind of a really cool product in the jewelry space, but she wants to. It's slightly daunting, right? Like she wants to be able to reduce her costs. I'm trying to hide the math a little bit, but she's trying to go from a cost of goods of like it's close to this. It's actually the margins are the parameters are wider, but basically she makes a jewelry product for roughly $95, retails it for about $180. She wants to be able to go to a trinket version for manufacture costs about $20, $25, and then retail for $65, $70. And I said to her, well, and so we had this whole conversation. I said to her, you seem to like you seem to really know what you're doing, right? Like I don't know anything about manufacturing jewelry, and you know what I mean. Like besides, what we all know about like efficiencies and all that kind of stuff. But I said to her, like, you seem to really know what you're doing. Is this doable? Like just to one quarter your costs? Like it seems to me like it's a serious deviation from your plan, right? Because like at $95 cost, you're making a pretty nice piece of jewelry, But at $20, like I envision that like a cheap China plant cranking out a couple of thousand at a time.
Right.
Made of tin or something very, souvenir store trinkety,
Yeah.
I said, why do you want to do this? And so she said, well, I talked to a retailer who really likes my product, but said, if you can drop this cost to this range, I could probably sell 10,000 of these. I said, okay, and so I had one of those inner game moments, right? Because I just said to her,
it's kind of off.
Right? Like, and I said to her,
strategy,
like, do you, you're a jewelry maker. I didn't really see you as a souvenir maker. Like, are they the same thing? Like, I don't, you almost need to tell me a little bit, but, like if you took the cost of your bars from what they cost now to about 30 cents, a bar, I'd be like, Kenny, did you just grind up newspaper and stick it in the bar? Like, I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do here, right? Do you know what I mean?
Plus, I totally know what you mean. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm like, my thing to you be, so what kind of jewelry does she make? Is it like semi-precious metal, like silver?
Yeah.
Type thing?
Yeah.
Is it nice?
But so anyone who listens to us that does jewelry, I apologize because I'm gonna hack it all up. But I think there's some silver in it, but then there's a there's like a stainless steel nickel element, I think, that makes it not, kind of not premium quality end, but high end, or, kind of high end jewelry that doesn't degrade, right? So the metal alloy inside it keeps it.
So is it plating?
No, it's not. It's not plating. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm sure I'm gonna butcher it all, but
no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To me, I'm always, I probably go the same way you do. If the stuff she's doing is really nice,
yeah,
right? Like, sometimes where I like to look at is, and because everybody's got this tendency to do it the other way, is like, usually what I try to do is, if I would look at what I'm doing, try to figure out if I can lower the cost of that, and see if I can increase the retail.
Yeah.
What I'd be trying to do is saying, okay, in jewelry, doubling up on jewelry, to me, really doesn't sound that thrilling.
Yeah.
Like, I would think that in jewelry, I would think you got to be tripling, quadrupling. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I mean, there's no freaking way you go into Tiffany's. I mean, I know metal weights.
Yeah.
I'm not a rocket scientist, but if I'm buying something for 6, 7 grams, 8 grams of troy ounce, or 8 grams of silver, at $9.25 silver, it's peanuts.
Yeah.
But you can get $400 for that. Come on, but raw materials are $25 tops.
Yeah.
Put the man hours in, it's $50. We're making 8 times. I'm happy to pay it.
And I went there first. So I said to her, I get that this retailer wants you to make these trinkets, right, and sell 10,000 of them, but did you kind of help them do the math, right? Because retailers, the easiest way to sell is to sell on volume, cheap. Right? It's like, I can
go to the price,
it's cheap.
The price.
I can sell 1 million of these. I'm happy, right? But if you kind of went to them and went, look, like, here's my brand, here's the quality of what I make, and your penny profit on each one of these is going to be amazing, right? So maybe it's not $20, but maybe it's not 90 either. Maybe I can drop my cost, as you said, right? Like, maybe I can drop my cost to, $60-ish, which feels realistic to me.
And we go $175.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Right. And then bump the retail on the higher end so that you get, you get some real bang for your buck, right? So every time you sell one of these, the retailer does a little happy dance, right?
Well, that's what I would.
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic on the other one.
Yeah. So I kind of like, so anyway, it wound up being one of those because I, she surprised me because I thought, because sometimes when you're manufacturing, you just don't see the penny profit story. It takes someone from the outside to kind of, go, hey, you've got a penny profit story. Let me show you how to pitch it, right? Because that's actually kind of it's a specialized story, right? That you almost need to be able to get your handles around. But I wound up leaving that story on the table and just going to, all right, tell me what your brand represents, right? Because I'm not sure that, now I question the retailer and what the retailer actually understands about you, and then I also question you because you're not making a product that is going to resemble anything that you're known for, which makes me worry, right? Yeah.
Like, if she's not going to put her name to it, I don't care. Make them for a dime.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
But if your name's going to go on it, you just degraded your $90, well, your $200 retail item.
Yeah.
And look, say, well, I mean, why is this shit 60?
Yeah.
And this stuff is 200?
Yeah.
Like, am I getting screwed on this one? I might as well just go buy the $60 stuff.
Yeah.
And all she's going to do is she just killed her margins. I mean, she might make a percentage.
Yeah.
But her penny profit's gone right to shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Right. I mean, seriously, you make it for 20. What's she going to sell to the retailer for? 30? So he can double up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he gets 60. So she makes $10.
Yeah. I know.
On the $90 one, if you sold it at 120 and the guy makes 80, everybody's happy. Why do you want to go down to making $10?
I don't know. Yeah. So I struggled with this one because I was like, I don't think
it's so much a struggle. I think the way you handle is the way to do it. You got to ask, what do you want to do? Like, what are you trying to do? If you're not worried about your name and you just want to crank stuff out, crank it out. But just understand that you could be tarnishing, for metal terms, you could be tarnishing the image of the other stuff.
No pun intended.
And I'm with you. Pun intended. I would go the other way. To me, I would try to get down to $65, $70 on the 90 and see if I could get to $225 on the retail.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No, I actually had you, I was channeling you in my head, right? Because, like in those cases, I really mean it. Like, I think if you're a brand out there and you're listening to us, the thing that Kenny's keying in on is retailers will drive you,
it's easy.
Yeah, because retailers always know, like, hey, if I drop the price on this, I can blow out 1 million of these. It's highly attractive to them. But you almost need to defend your space in your brand and go after, what Kenny and I call penny profit, which is the gap between the cost that you sell it to them for and their retail. Because, sometimes it's just far more worthwhile for you to be able to sell one of these and make a killing on margin versus, 10 of these and make a tiny bit of margin, right? Like, it works both ways, but you've got to do the math and figure it out. Yeah. But there's a great story to be had, and retailers are usually fairly delighted when you bring them penny profit stories because they don't see it, right? Like they have a hard time seeing those. But once you show it to them, almost all of them go, "Oh wait, I get it. I'm going to make a ton of cash on each one. Like, so I don't need to take a discount on every one of them, right?" So
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes, the part that everybody forgets. I mean, yeah. I had a similar one this week. So one of the people I'm working with is sort of the same thing. Product retails for like $17, doesn't sell as well. The major national competitor probably retails around $12, $13. Okay. And the idea is to go down closer to matching it. And I said, okay, why? Well, because, then the retailer could sell more, I said, I get it, but I'm on the other side of the desk as a buyer now thinking, well, so you're telling me you want to take $5 off my top line and you're going to lower my cost, let's say $1.50.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But my top line is going to come down $5.
Yeah.
So before I was making, I wasn't selling this ton, but maybe I was making $6 or $7. And now you want me to make $3. Right. And quite frankly, you can't guarantee me that I'm going to sell that many more, because when you're taking that much of my top line away, and obviously you're impacting my bottom line significantly, you might have to sell 4 times, 5 times to make up what you just cost me. Yeah. So I'm going to sell a lot more units, but at the end of the day, I go to the bank, I'm thinking, fuck man, I sold 4 times the units, but I'm making less money.
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Like, how did I win?
And now I'm going,
more traffic. Yeah. Well, how do you know? I don't know what I got.
No. And you don't know that, right? And now you're going head to head with another retailer, or another brand who's got the same price point, And
if the other brand is the monster,
yeah,
poke the monster. When the bear is sleeping, leave the bear alone. Why are you poking the bear? Well, right?
I love it. Yeah, well, no, you're right. You're right.
Now, again, there could be there's a lot of times. So people are listening. There's a lot of rational reasons why. If you can show me and you can make the story, listen, my volume's going to go up 20 times if I do this.
Yeah.
Me and the retailer, or if I was the retailer, sure, you can tell me the story. Let's go.
Yeah.
But for the most part, typically what happens is you end up worse. Like you typically do, because you never achieve the sales units that you thought you were going to.
Yeah.
Your top line just went to shit.
Yeah.
Your bottom line followed. It's a lot more work for really
Yeah.
no gain. I
No
mean,
gain.
no,
Yeah.
again, it doesn't always work. I mean, we're talking
Yeah.
very generally here, but
Yeah.
you got to do the math. You got to
Yeah.
sit down and think it through. Like I said, I go back to this girl and it's the same thing. Like, I think what she, and I don't know her, so I'm talking, out of my ass because I don't know what she does. But I would seriously take a look at it. The product is really nice. Can you get more money for it and reduce the cost slightly? Get that spread going, right? That's where the win is to me, not lowering it by 4 times to sell it at 3 times less. This doesn't.
I almost always recommend price, like dropping price as the very last thing. Like I actually, like I think you and I lean the same way. Usually these guys go, oh, well, maybe I should give them the, and I go, no, don't give them anything. Like if you start a sentence and you say, I give, stop saying it.
Yeah.
Just stop right there.
It always depends. If you're talking like coffee like ours, unfortunately, it's a massively competitive state.
Yeah.
Unless you really got a great story, like you're really and truly artisan, it's tough to get premium dollar because you are competing with a million brands in the middle. I would think in jewelry, go back to this example, it's so emotional.
Yeah.
It's such an emotional purchase that, it's not typically the money that is, again, I spend $10,000 on a diamond versus 150. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're spending $150 to $300 on a piece of jewelry, do you really give a shit? It's really going to come down to what looks nice, how's it presented, it's not. There's no money. There's no money in the jewelry you bought. Anybody who's buying jewelry as an investment, I mean, unless you're buying a really unique piece, you bought it for $300, you're going to get $40 for it.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, there's no intrinsic value. The value's in the metal. There's nothing there.
The funny thing is, so I asked her that too because I said, look, like, if you're in this $200 range, you're kind of like, you're the tier below, kind of a Tiffany's little pendant, right? Like a little Tiffany's pendant would be
$400
like,
in Tiffany's.
$400, right?
$400, you get a nice little necklace and a little pendant or whatever. That's it. You can do okay.
So at $200, you're just below that level, but there's a stature to it, that kind of says like, I'm not cheap crap that you would buy at the Bay, right? But I'm also
not $70 purchase.
But I'm also not Tiffany's where if I walk into the store somebody's going to follow me around with white gloves until I buy something, right?
Exactly.
So
on most expensive real estate in the city.
Yeah, and so you kind of go like
right. So
all right. There's kind of this nice branding or this brand expectation, but you want to drop this thing down to $20. Like you say cost of $20 and then retail for 30 or whatever you let the retailer retail it for. I hear souvenir store, and they're not the same to me in any stretch of the imagination, right? It's like I don't have where would you souvenir store versus possibly having a shot at putting this in as a cheap end Tiffany's. Like I don't get it, right? So
no, I'm not getting it either. But anyway, I like your example of the girl too because I typically that's what I do with a lot of these people is, especially when you're doing artisanal type of stuff, put some value on your stuff. Mm-hmm. And I know what her argument is, but why it takes me only 20 minutes to make this. Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't take you 20. No. How old is she?
She's older. Yeah, she's older. She's kind of probably early 60s, I guess.
Okay, so she's early 60s, probably doing this for 30 years?
Yeah.
5 days a week?
Yeah.
Okay, do the math. 2,000 hours a year for 30 years. That's how long it took you to make that piece of jewelry. Now what's it worth?
Yeah.
Still worth 20.
And that's what I said to her too. Is like I get it, right? So you got a retailer that's interested, which is great, right? So everybody,
the retailer to phone Alibaba, and get the shit made from someone in China.
Well, I said to her too, is like, look, like if you make this for them, what's the guarantee, right? So they said they can sell 10,000, but they get the first batch from you, and they realize like, hey, I could make this too. They go out and make it, and then a month later they're like, hey, so listen, we're not going to take any more of these, right? We figured out how to make it on our own. Thanks, but no thanks, right? And you're kind of like, oh, jeez. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, not that. Yeah. Hopefully is the extreme. Yeah. But you're right. Or it could go the other way. This is such a great idea. Yeah. You make 1,000 pieces, they sell 10. Just like we said before, they may have paid for the $9.90, but you're getting them back.
Oh, you're getting it back. Yeah.
Right?
Now you're peddling to souvenir stores, right? Like
exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way you went in at it with her is the right way. What really is your gig here, right?
Yeah.
Now, and if this girl says, "Listen, you know what? I'm selling 3 pieces a month at this price. I think at $20, I could sell 5,000 of these. I really do." Well, light it up.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, there's nobody stopping you. It's your business.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I would look at that. Hey, man, if you can make, if you make $50,000 a month,
yeah.
Okay, well, maybe it's a good business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you unless you feel icky because now you're making shite.
Yeah.
Right.
But ultimately, the answer to that question is still the same thing, which is this is a different business model and it's a different brand than the one that you have out there. And so you just need to be cognizant of that, right? Like you need to keep them separate, right? Like you need to, yeah.
Yeah, instead of Phil Chang's, you call this Becky Lou's.
Yeah. Or this is Phil Ching's, and that's Phil Chang's.
No, you don't want to go down that path. In your province right now, you might want to. I'm not going to say that ever again. I'm not implying anything about the man or the people that he has with him. We're from BC. We're very nice people out here. Just because you guys went down that path, it's not our problem.
I know, right? I know. So one thing I did want to I was late calling you because I
did you fix it?
What's that?
Did you fix the last podcast?
I did. I don't know what happened. I think because I made so many cuts that I forgot to move the ending back up. So I think that's what happened is I cut parts and then there's kind of like the industry kind of puts out a ton of articles and a ton of reviews and everything. There's one report by a lady named Mary Meeker that she does once a year. That is kind of like key reading if you're looking at internet trends and e-commerce and all that kind of stuff. So it's out by a lady named Mary Meeker. She is a super bright lady. Yeah, Meeker.
American venture capitalist.
Yeah, so I will put the link in our podcast episode. The report itself is 248 pages. 294 pages, sorry.
Is it free though?
Yeah, it's free. It's free.
So is it the Internet Trends one?
Yeah, it's Internet Trends, and so she releases one. So this one will be for 2017. But she talks about everything from, what happens, like key issues. So things like data and privacy and competition, taxes, safety and content. So she kind of goes through like a really comprehensive commercial look at the internet and what it's doing. So it's 294 pages. You should definitely, you should definitely read a good chunk of it. There are some, over the next couple of weeks, you'll see a bunch of summary articles that everyone will write. Typically Forbes does a pretty good job, of kind of, crunching down, what she does. Some of the ones that I've read already that I'm sure other people are going to cover. Probably the biggest one is how social media is starting to power e-commerce growth. So this idea of Facebook ads and Twitter ads and like it's actually starting to drive discovery and purchase. So I think it's like the numbers are somewhere in the 40s and 50 percentile range for like people who discover products on social media. Like 50% of them wind up buying the product. So some pretty critical numbers that
I'm going to read this. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just stop listening to you.
No, yeah, that's okay.
I'm looking at the article.
So for listeners out there, the Mary Meeker report is a huge report, but it's really critical. Like it's really, for anyone who kind of wants to keep up in the industry, this is critical reading. I will say to you that most of the insights that kind of smarty pants in the industry will kind of recite or regurgitate will come from a report like Mary Meeker's. So, definitely look at it, keep track of it. I think the other one was, mobile shopping sessions, like on mobile apps, went up. God, what was the number? Like it was like 50% growth year over year. Something like that. Like it was something crazy. Like it was a big number. Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, this is a.
Yeah, it's a really comprehensive report. It's critical. I can't say it enough. It's critical reading. If you want to catch up to smarty pants in the industry, this is the one you want to read. But like if it's 294 pages. So if you're not going to read it,
yeah, but a lot of pages are one graph per page. It's not. I'm just looking at it now.
Yeah.
It's not that. You know what it shows you though? Like honestly, the freaking Chinese, man, they're so far ahead.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing with the West, eh? So everybody here, you think China and all you think is a bunch of shit coming out low cost, right?
Yeah.
These people over there, like Asia in general, are so smartphone and so digital savvy. The amount of shit you can do on WeChat is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think you could buy probably a house on WeChat now.
Yeah, You could.
Like honestly.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really crazy, but
we are so far behind in Western in North America, and we think we lead the world. This is how delusional we are over here. We think we are so not leading the world on this shit.
I mean, Alibaba,
we might use it more than most.
Like all of that stuff, the Alibaba, the AliExpresses of the world. I mean, they are leading omni-channel. I mean, Taobao is their, kind of. The other big competitor out there, and they are like their online offline strategies are amazing. Like it's just they're doing some really incredible things over there, right? So
we should go to
we should
go to Asia. We should go to the Canton Fair.
Yeah, this
That's
Commerce
hard,
Life.
But
this Commerce Life,
and do Hong Kong.
Yeah. I'm actually not that kidding about it. I think it'd be something we should do. We should look at it for sure.
Yeah, if this Commerce Life people would only pay us, shit, we could get them.
This Commerce Life, bunch of jerks. Just bunch.
Nobody listens to them. I'd stop listening. If I was other people, I'd stop listening to them too. The hell good are they?
Yeah.
They can't even stay on topic, the losers.
I know, damn it. But yeah, so this report, I'll put the link in in our comments, but you should spend some time reading it. It's the really good stuff starts happening around like page 90. You get into like internet advertising spend, which is something that everyone kind of wants to know how much money they should spend. All of that kind of stuff in there, and then there's like relative household spending in there. There's just kind of like a million things. So yeah.
No, I'm gonna definitely take a look at that. I'll do it tonight. I'm trying to do it on the phone, as you can see, because we're on camera here. I gotta take my glasses because I can't see the phone. I got an iPhone 10. I still can't see the 10. Even my iPad's getting small now.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. I know what you mean.
I'm waiting for the iPad, the 27-inch iPad.
The 27-inch iPad. That's called an iMac. You put it on your table.
With a 27-inch iPad and not have to take my glasses off. I'll be able to see everything.
You put it on your table. It stands by itself now. It's an iMac.
Too far away, then I can't see it.
The other thing I realized, so I was helping you do, I was trying to set you up with another ad. But I tried to be really clever about it. I don't know if you noticed that, right? It never got off review. Your second Google ad never came off review because I tried to tie it. So I basically said anytime that anyone went to there's one particular website that's all about like marijuana users.
Yeah.
They all go there, and it's probably like www.smokeup.com or something like that, right? Or one of those ones. Anyway,
they'll never get out of review.
Yeah, kind of one of those two really big ones. And so I had said, basically, hey, you know what? I'm structuring the ad. I want it to go to ages 23 to 45. Anyone who hits this site, I want to target them. and then they see your ad no less than 3 times and no more than 5 times.
Yeah.
But they got to hit that site, and it never came off review.
It won't.
And and it won't because they don't want that at all. So I was really annoyed, right? Because I kept trying to trick the system, fool the system, game the system, right? And it never got off ad because I was just like, oh my god.
Well, you know what I find funny with that? I'll tell you what, Facebook does this to me, right?
Yeah.
So the Buds clusterfuck one, right?
Yeah.
Or funk.
Yeah.
I said it was the bad word. It could be funk. It could be fink. Right? Whatever it's called. Right? I can post pictures all day on Facebook. Yeah. All day. I can write about it. I can talk about it. I can't boost it.
Yeah.
Because you know when they boost? Oh, we don't like those words.
Yeah. Sorry.
Think it.
Yeah.
The post is up, guys. You haven't disliked it yet. As soon as I want to give you money to boost it, now you don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I learned that the hard way.
Not like it at the beginning, even when it was on. If that was going to be where you're drawing the line in the sand. And the funny part, I'm actually trying to give you money.
I know.
To talk about this, and now you're going to go, ethical, moral, whatever the hell.
Sorry.
I don't know what I'm trying to do.
We won't be able to sleep at night now. So,
oh my God, I laugh. The best part is, but they don't take it down.
No.
They just won't let me buy an ad.
Yeah. So I learned that the hard way. So I'll go back in and redo the ads and stuff. But I was really annoyed, right? Because I was just like, and they didn't even have the courtesy to say, like, so in Google terms, basically under review, if it never comes off under review, it just means it's rejected. But they actually don't reject the ad.
Yeah, see, at least Facebook will do that.
So, yeah.
Facebook will basically say, no, you're not. It's your ad's been rejected.
Yeah.
I don't know if they use reject the word, but it's definitely a rejected word. Like it's definitive. Like, you know exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're not saying, hey, listen, Phil, check back in a day.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, stop checking.
Cease and desist. You'll never over our dead body, right?
Yeah, it's not happening. That's okay. I got to figure out what to do with this stupid brand. I got to get it. I really need to see the online sales start to pick up.
Yeah.
Right, because even in retail, it's going to be, it's going to be a grind, and a lot of it is it's still always on us. I'm not blaming any retailer. This is all us. I mean, we need to either invest in displayers. It's going to be tough to get the cost of goods down.
Yeah.
But then we either have to figure out what kind of margin structure we really want to work on. Do we even decide to say, listen, you know what, for what it's worth, let's just ship from the garage and forget a distributor, and we'll have to be the distributor.
Yeah.
And then figure out, okay, so at that point, my time and my effort's worth nothing because I can't put a value to it. Otherwise, I may as well stay with the distributor because there is the defined value.
Yeah.
But it shows, just to let people know, like, even when you've done this for a long time or, you've had other things, this is the shit that happens sometimes. You get it and you're thinking, okay, how do I really get it to go without spending, 15, 20 grand more just for funsies.
And I think for entrepreneurs, so if you're getting in, like Kenny's problem actually is a common problem that happens when you get into space where it's undefined space, right? Is where you are, right? And it's a classic marketing problem because you get into a spot where you are, and so if you haven't heard us kind of talk about it, we've really been kicking this around for about 3 episodes, right? And because we've been looking at this thing, trying to figure out, how do you sell the snack in a category that doesn't really exist, right? So, the unhealthy version of what Kenny's selling is probably Doritos. Doritos or Pringles are probably the closest things, and
totally, that's
they
totally
aren't, but they aren't marketed that way at all, right? So there literally is no market. Kenny's literally dropping this product in the middle of white space in a white sea, and we're almost laying breadcrumbs with search terms and hints and things like that to be able to kind of lead people. Little granola, nut crumbs, clusterfuck crumbs to
just to see if anybody
to lead them to your product, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a tough one. And again, because we are premium priced relative to those two other commodities in terms of size and even in terms of absolute dollar outlay, it does. It makes it a lot more challenging, right? Yeah. And the last thing you want to do is bail out early.
Yeah.
Because the market will get there. I mean, everybody's just trying to figure out. And I think probably a lot of people just aren't too sure how to enter it, right?
Yeah. 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 It's
or maybe wait till we keep all the branding and it's the edibles that'll when those go legals. Maybe that's where the brand has some.
I mean,
some potential.
The merchandising in the stores too will be interesting, right? I mean, they're going. I mean, here they're going to go LCBO style. So like the store is gonna. I mean, you look at the way they sell now. It's cross merch, right? There's a ton of stuff in there. So I feel like if this thing actually comes to fruition in July, you might actually have some stores in Ontario that would be looking for things that they can put into the store,
unless
right?
They do that. But I'll tell you, the last understanding I had the BC model, which is probably going to be the most liberal model in the country because it's BC, right? One of the FAQs is, what else can I sell besides medicinal marijuana?
Yeah.
And the answer is nothing.
Nothing.
No bong.
Interesting.
No sweets. No snacks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So it could end up that the liquor store says no. Right? No different than we don't sell hot dogs in the liquor store because we're not going to try to promote beer drinking and hot dogs. Not that that's a big thing. Peanuts. Yeah. We're not going to put salty peanuts next to the
pretzels.
beer.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right? Anything, all those relations we're not going to do. Right? Mm-hmm. So we got that could see again. And it's your point. This is what happens when you dive into white space, right? Rules aren't established. No. The other one that they're talking about is that caricatures that minors could find funny or entertaining may not be allowed. I don't know where the grasshoppers are going to go.
Yeah.
Like Bud Mary Jane could be considered cartoon when they are cartoony. So it could be considered offside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, we don't know where this is all going to go. I mean, luckily we're not into this for billions of dollars, but it is one of those things. I'm trying to either get this to go quickly or take as many learnings out of it as humanly possible.
Yep.
And figure out how to play the next round.
Well, yeah, and like if you've been listening to this before, I mean, one of the pressures here is that somewhere in this process, Kenny's got to make a call on the next batch and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's like, there's kind of a lot of moving
and as you can tell, because
right?
we've done this before, I'm not scared to start looking at this very early.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the guy that's gonna pump $400,000 and say shit. Well, I guess it's not gonna happen. We may just do one batch and say, you know what?
Yeah, it didn't go.
Probably could do another one, but do we really want to chance it? It's not a lot of money, but is it worth doing?
Yeah.
Or do we just say, listen, you know what?
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I got to, I'm not quite there yet. But I am getting to the point where I'm starting to think, well, geez, okay, maybe this is not. It may not fly as quickly as I want it to fly.
Yeah, it's not free flowing off the shelves yet.
No. Yeah. I mean, we're getting listings, we're getting some repeats. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
But it's not at the speed I was really hoping it to be.
Are you seeing? So based on the first ad, did you see any conversions out of that first ad? Nothing, right?
No.
Okay. That's, for you, that's not a great data point. For me, that's a great data point, right? Because then that allows me to go back and go, all right, great. So,
well, it's okay for me too, because again, it's learnings.
Yeah.
I'm not delusional enough to not know. That's fine. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's that this discussion, okay, is there something we're missing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Or
might not
are we
be,
hitting the wrong demographic? Are we missing? Yeah.
Is it the wrong demographic? Is maybe the packaging wrong? Is it the wrong ingredients?
Yeah.
Is it the wrong price?
Yeah.
And typically the easiest one to do is like we finished talking about this young lady, the jeweler. Mm-hmm. Price is because I'm in a different world. I'm not talking. There's no artisanal play in this. There's nothing unique. This is commodity.
Yeah.
It may have to be one of those things. And at that point, it may be that we just say, listen, we can't have a distributor.
Yeah.
We can have a pick and pack, right? You know, for $12 a month for the pallet, you know, it might be 25 cents in and out boxing. I mean, it may prove to be not viable, but it might be better than giving a distributor 30%, right? Which isn't even high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Got you. Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of it, right? This is how the game plays.
Yeah. Well, I think these are the conversations you kind of need to have all the time, right? Because it helps you sanity check. I actually wonder how, like, I've got you and you've got me, right? Yeah. And so I wonder how entrepreneurs really get this stuff done. Like, if I didn't have you and I didn't have this podcast, I was just going out doing my own thing.
You give up a lot faster on things.
Yeah, you would, and you wouldn't
both.
You wouldn't know. You actually wouldn't know when to give up and when not to.
You do both.
You know,
you end up giving too soon.
Yeah.
Or you give up too late.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it.
Yeah.
So you get in there and you think, oh, too complicated, or I don't think anyone's going to do it, and you walk away too quickly.
Yeah.
Or you do the opposite. There's very little middle ground on this one. It's the extremes is where most people do it. They either hang on way too long.
Yeah.
And someone had been like you and I saying, buddy, you can hang on this for 6 more months. It's not going to matter. This is not going to work. And here's the reasons why. Right?
Yeah.
No, and then it's up to you whether you're a big kid, you listen or you don't.
Yeah.
Right? And there's others where you can say, buddy, it's coming. You're just a little, and here's the reasons why.
Just hang on a little bit longer. Yeah.
Just hang on.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But sometimes that's why you need people to vet things against, right? You know,
I think you need that. I think you need to, the funny story I was thinking about was I went out to, I've got to take Kathy's car in for maintenance, right? So I went out to get the mileage in the car. I booked her appointment online. Yeah. And my neighbor across the street works, he sells rail cars and he sells rail equipment, right? Yeah. But he calls me over, and so it's kind of, Dave is my neighbor, and Dave calls me all the time. I go over and I drink in his garage. He comes over and drinks in my garage, and he says, "Listen, come here, I got something to show you." I go over, and because he works on rail yards, he has to have, by law, he has to have like strobe lights in and like that stuff so the trains can see him and all that stuff. And he goes, "Look at this," right? And he shows me his flashers and all that kind of. He flashed me, right? And then he, right, like and then he put in, with light. He didn't flash me, but he flashed me with light. And then and then he had all these switches in his car for like funky switches without drilling holes in his dashboard and all that, like things I clearly can't do, right? Yeah. So I was like, dude, this is so cool. And he goes, yeah, I worked on this all day, and I was just thankful. Like he said, if you didn't come outside, I would have texted you to come outside. I said, why? And he goes, because I showed it to the wife, and the wife couldn't give a crap, right? Like
the wife's thinking, this is your accomplishment.
Yeah, good for you. You put in flashy lights. Like who the hell
job.
Cares? And he was like,
how's the lawn looking?
But like look at where I put the light switches. They're cleverly placed so that I didn't drill any holes. Yeah. And she's like, can I go back inside now? Right? Like. And I feel like entrepreneurs are like, it's all exactly like this story, right? Because you're literally like,
all the
look
time.
at this cool shit I did. I built this thing, and everyone's like, you're like, God, I need to talk to somebody who understands this stuff, right? Like
all the time. Yeah. But at the same time, is I get a lot of Daves, and I'll sit there and say, Dave, super cool.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it's going, bud.
Yeah.
It's just super cool, but there's no viability here.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why, Dave. It just took you 6 hours to do that. The max billing you can do on this is $100.
Yeah.
Okay. In the $100, you got $60 worth of cost of goods.
Yeah.
Dave, you're going to make a grand total of $6.50 an hour. Are you still loving this?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to go tell the wife this one? Because it's going to end pretty quickly.
Yeah. Does this make any sense still, or no?
Yeah. Still love it. Now, if you can charge $1,000, Dave, we're not telling the wife anything. We're going to do this together.
Yeah. We're in. We're all there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's why you just need to rattle things off each other, right?
Yeah, you really do.
That's why I hope, like I'd say, if people listen, that's what you're hoping is people get out of it, right? Is send us the questions like they did last week.
Yeah.
Send us stuff. I mean, we'll answer what we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we
Or if the
love
examples we're
to,
doing sound
yeah,
familiar to you,
yeah,
throw us your example. We'll tell you. We'll tell you what we think. I mean, we're
yeah,
not right for sure, but
yeah,
it at least get you thinking,
yeah.
right?
That's a neat one too. So I think that's the other thing is if you're an entrepreneur and you're out there and you don't really have a sounding board, you
Use
know,
it.
we ask for questions too, but throw us a success, like something that would be neat too. So if you guys had, something that you want to celebrate, like me and my geeky moment with my email campaign, that's a great example, right? Because you literally, you like get in there, roll up your sleeves, and like invest all this time. And when I came out the other side, there literally wasn't anybody. Like I showed it to Kenny, and Kenny was like, "I MailChimpy what?" Like I don't know.
I don't know how you did, but I was happy you were happy.
Yeah, right. Like, and so if you guys have little snippets of success like that, shoot us those. We want to hear those too. If you guys want to do that via audio, record something in a little WAV file or sound recorder, and then shoot that to us at This Commerce Life, either on Twitter or on email, thiscommercelife@gmail.com, and that'd actually be a really fun one to put together. So if you guys send us a montage, I'll throw them together and we can
Yeah.
celebrate a little.
Or if you got a cool story
yeah.
that you want a little extra help on,
Yeah.
send the story. If it sounds good, we'll even put you on the show.
Yeah. All right. That's the end of This Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.